Hello everyone, welcome to Crystal Eclipse. My name is Jessica. In this video, we'll be asking the cards about your future spouse and your first impression of them. This will be on their looks, their personality, any key factors that we can see through these cards. You can check the description box or the comment section for timestamps if you'd like to skip directly to any of the stacks available today. Starting over here, we have Amazonite. Next, we have Aquatic Agate, Onyx, Lapis Lazuli, and Hematite. So choose whichever stack our stacks call out to you, and we'll get started. Starting with our first stack and Amazonite. Our first card is the Four of Cups. Next we have the Six of Acorns, Success and Triumph. Two of Shells, Union and Harmony. And lastly, we have Higher Power. So with this stack, I want to say that it seems like within this first encounter, like the first initial meeting, maybe the first face-to-face meeting that you have, or even if this is just like a telephone call or video camera, like something where this is the first conversation that you're having while you're looking at each other. It seems like there's going to be a sort of disappointment. It seems like there's somebody that you will find attractive, like they're going to be somebody you're interested in, but there's a disconnect somewhere, and it could be that they're almost boasting about their accomplishments. They're sort of talking a lot about all the things that they've done, and you feel isolated away from that. It could be that they're just going on and on about themselves, and you feel like you're not given the opportunity to speak, or they're not taking the time to ask you about yourself. So it's almost either arrogant or just like a little too self-absorbed on their part. If not, it could just be that all the things they've done you sort of wish you could have done, or you feel like you're not as interesting as they are. So there's this sort of sadness that's coming from your part where they're causing this disconnect, but I don't think they see it the way you see it. They're thinking that they're building themselves up to make you like them more, or to make them more appealing to you. So they're really working hard to say, look at all the things I've done, so that I'm your type. Like, you should want me because I've done these things and I'm this person. But they're not realizing the way it's coming across to you is much different than the way that they're seeing it in their head. But I would say that doesn't seem to be a long-lasting problem. It seems to maybe just be that first conversation. I almost want to say with this first meet, or this first initial impression that you have of them, it seems like this is not just you two, or it's not a very personal meeting where you two can really have a deep conversation. It almost seems like there's a distraction. Maybe there's a group of friends. Maybe this is a setup between like your parents and somebody else, or this could be that your friends invited you out on a double date, or just like a party, a group environment. This could be like I said, online. This could be a lot of different ways where this is the first time you're sort of talking to each other, and it's sort of awkward and you don't really know what to talk about. So I would say that this doesn't seem to be a real impact on the relationship, because I see that changing with them realizing the way that they're talking about themselves is sort of pushing you away and making you almost distance yourself away from them. But I see it changing, because you'll see with the way that they change their approach to building themselves up, you will admire them, or you will see more to them than just that arrogance that came across in the first place. I see them being this very strong, confident person, and somebody that you really want to be around. And that change from this sort of isolation to a more interested personality or environment is going to be a key factor in this. So you will find them attractive when you first meet them, or when you first come face to face, whether it be over the internet or in person. You will find them attractive, but there will be a little bit of a distance, just conversation wise, because it doesn't seem like you're able to have that ability to get really deep into a conversation with each other without like an outside influence. But once you get that second opportunity to talk to each other, I would say that it's really going to change, and you're going to see them in a different light. With this Two of Shells, Union and Harmony, coming along so fast in this stack, also followed by Higher Power, it's really showing me this is going to be quite a positive relationship from the start. So you're really going to have key commonalities. You're going to have similar morals, similar ideals, similar religions, similar backgrounds, and mostly similar ways that you just look at the world in general. And I see that really bonding you two together, because it really seemed like something both of you wanted and didn't really expect to find. So when you really get to know this person, and I would say this second encounter would be the real first impression. I see you really admiring this person, really liking this person, and really enjoying your time with them, to where you're both able to bond immediately based off of all the things that you have in common. And I see that really taking place over time, where it's the chance where you guys really get to talk to each other, really get to hear each other out, and not be affected by those around you. I see this higher power card here being the absolute most important part of this stack. We're seeing you both allowing the universe, or whoever, whatever higher power you believe in, to guide you into this relationship, or to guide you into the best relationship for you. And with this relationship, with, even though it sort of started off, or will start off with a uncomfortable sort of separation, I see it really coming together well, and you really depending on that universe and that feedback, that guidance of just whoever you believe in, to allow this relationship to progress in the best way possible. I see both of you relying on that, and I think that's another important thing that will bond you two together. So with this initial, or first impression, this initial reaction to this person, I would say physically you do find them attractive. It definitely seems like the type of person that you would go for. When it comes to their personality, I see almost two first impression situations, or first reaction situations. We're going to see that first one where they're trying to build themselves up, they're trying to make themselves out to be this really great person, to try and get you to like them more. They're just really trying to get you to like them because they like you. But that's not going to go over well. But the second reaction to this, the second impression that you get, will be the real reaction, the real first impression that will help you form your opinion of them and build this relationship. But it will be a better one. You will really like them in the long run. They will show you a less arrogant, more caring, more confident personality with this deeper conversation that you'll have. So that's what I'm seeing with this first stack and Amazonite. Starting with our second stack and aquatic agate, we have the Queen of Wands, Six of Feathers, transition and insight, Five of Shells, hope and readjustment, and lastly, go the distance. So it's sort of interesting here. If we look at these cards, we see two cards on the sides that sort of represent a similar environment, and we see two cards in the center that represent a very similar environment. We see two flying creatures, but almost headed off in different directions. But we see quite a bit going on here, where there's a lot of different emotions going on. So with this first Queen of Wands card, I want to say that both of you start off this first impression sort of not knowing what to expect, but still like putting up a guard. You don't want to let yourself be interested in this person right away. And I see that mostly because it seems like this person is seemingly your type. And I would say in both personality and physical features. So the way that they look and their personality seem to both be your type. And that sort of puts you back a little bit. You don't want to approach this person because you almost don't want to let them get to you too fast. You don't want you to be connected to them, get too close to them too fast, because there's a chance that in your mind they might not feel the same way. But what I'm seeing here is you both feel the same way. You both sort of have that reservation because you're both interested in each other. You both have similar personalities. You both seem to have a lot of things in common, and you're both really looking at each other with the same level of attraction, but sort of worried that the other person isn't quite feeling the same way. And I would say that this is really evident when you first meet. It's very obvious that you're both sort of holding back a little. You don't really get too deep into conversations. You don't tell the other person too much because you don't want to sort of fall for this person immediately. I see with the Six of Feathers, though, we see transition and insights, where there is that change and that realization by the end of this first meeting, by the end of this first reaction, the way you'll look at them, that if you don't open up, that you might lose them, or there's almost a shock in realizing that somehow you have opened up to them. So by the end of these conversations, you have this first conversation, there will be a sort of surprise at the end of them, because you weren't expecting to have bonded that well or to have that much in common, and to sort of go from being so distant from each other, or like not really wanting to have deep conversations, to just opening up and being really comfortable with this person. It seems like it really happens within this first conversation that you two have face to face, or whatever, this first real conversation that you two have. It seems like it's going to be quite quickly that you two feel like you can really talk to each other and share a lot with each other. With this Five of Shells, we see a continuation of that. We see hope represented in here. So that's this end of this conversation, this end of the first impression, that first encounter with this person. This is where you, rather than walking away from that situation thinking they won't talk to me, or having any negative images of this conversation or this first encounter, you're going to have hope for a future. You're going to want to talk to this person, want to continue this relationship, and both of you will, rather than still holding back at the end, or just like letting it go, letting it move away from you. I see you both really almost urging each other to continue this conversation. I see the end of this first meeting where you're both almost like you can't wait for the next time that you two meet, and you're already planning your next conversation, your next get together, and the next time that you two can just talk. And it seems like something that's really important with both of you. It seems like where you both can let your guards down, you both can get along well with each other really easily. It doesn't seem to be as very difficult. And I say that because it seems like you may have had difficulty in the past opening up to others, because maybe there's a fear of getting hurt, or you just don't like letting people in because you don't want to be seen as weak. Whatever it is, it seems like both of you have that same sort of personality trait, where you both just put up that guard just to stay safe. But I see by the end of this meeting, you really do want to continue conversations, and it seems like a real conversation-based relationship. When it comes to the first impression and the first reaction that you have to them, I would say that their personality is something that really amazes you. Like the way you two can get along and the way you two can open up to each other, something you never experienced before, and it really is something quite special. That's what I'm seeing with at least these first three cards. With the go with the distance here, what I would say is, when it comes down to that final second of you forming your final opinion of them during that first initial meeting, I see it coming to be a realization that you want to be with this person, that this person is somebody that you can potentially have a future with, and that you're really interested in having a future with, and that being the way that you pursue them, the way you go after them. Like we can see the way that this picture is demonstrating the final line, the passing the finish line. We see that like you have that goal in mind, you see that future at the end of this meeting. After evaluating everything, you have that goal in mind. You know that you want a long relationship with them, a long-term relationship with them. You know that this person has the potential to be your future spouse, which obviously it is, because this is a future spouse reading. But you'll see that within that first meeting that this person is potentially the future. I see that really being quite clear to you. And with these two cards though in the center, I really want to say that these really show that you two will bond well. You may not have everything in common, but that's going to add a lot to your relationship, where it's not just like agreements on everything. You'll have good conversations where you can share your opinions, share mindset. Share whatever you want with this person, and they won't tell you you're wrong. They won't go at you. They'll be embracing, and they want to hear you because it provides like a stimulation. It provides something new to their life. So even though it might not be everything, what you have in common is really great, and it seems like a good relationship where you're both very, very compatible with each other. You're both going to find each other attractive, both personality and physically. And that was aquatic agate. Next we have onyx. Our first card is Ace of Cups. The Magician, willpower and creation. Nine of Acorns, power and perseverance. And lastly, we have flexible. Seems like at first when you first see this person, they may not be exactly what you wanted or like exactly what you're interested in. They come sort of close to it, but it doesn't seem like it's quite what you had hoped for. And I see that represented in this Ace of Cups because we do see this chalice here almost in a comparison to this teacup where they're both cups. They both can hold liquids. They both can hold a lot of things, but the way they're shaped, the way they're used, and what normally goes in them is quite different. So we're seeing that it didn't quite come out the way you wanted. So it could be physically, it could be personality wise, but I want to lean more toward physically. They may not be exactly what you wanted, and I want to say that they're going to be incredibly different to a point where you don't like them or you're not as interested in them. It just seems like it wasn't quite what you expected, so you don't know how to approach them or you don't know what to do about them. Maybe they didn't look exactly like a picture you saw, or maybe if this was a setup and your friend was telling you about them and you saw them and you're like, well, they don't really look the way that you said they'd look. But I see it mostly being that you decide to not let that bother you in this situation. We can see that represented in flexible. We can also see that represented in the Magician with creation. We see you allowing this situation to rely on your own choices, the way that you want this to go. You're heavily relying on your own mindset. You don't want to let what could be a good situation get away from you, a good person get away from you. So rather than really looking away from this person or trying to find a way out, I see you really embracing them. And I wouldn't really say that they're that much different. It just seems like maybe there's just a few things about them that don't quite add up to the image that you had in your head. When it comes to their personality, though, I want to say that this is what really is going to grab you. This is what's going to make you want to be with them. This is the most important part of them, because I see the personality represented in this Nine of Acorns. It seems like they're going to be the person that you need in your life. And I mean that in a way where they're going to be that person that will provide you with the encouragement you need and the level-headedness that you need, or maybe just a different opinion, a different point of view. This is going to be that person that really completes you. They're going to be that person that helps you be the best you can be, and in addition to you helping or them helping you, you will help them, because it's going to be a good compatible relationship. But I see it being where you can almost feel safe with them. The way that they approach you and embrace you is something that makes you feel very safe and comfortable with them. You know that they're there for you, and you know that they'll have your back, and they'll be the type that will really take care of you and be really like infinitely there for you when whatever it comes down to. They are going to have your back. I see though with this Magician and willpower here, creation, I'm seeing that it's really going to be that eye-opening experience where it's going to, since you're going into that situation with that like preconceived notion, you're already going to have an image in your mind, and it's not going to quite add up to what you thought it would be, or not quite match what you thought it would be. I'm seeing you really taking this moment to really move forward. So when it comes down to this personality, when it comes down to these conversations you'll have and this first reaction to them, you're going to be so committed to wanting to know what kind of person they are that you'll be fully embracing of them. You're going to really want to know this, because I think part of you, when you meet this person, even though they might not look the way you expected or quite fit what your type is, I see you knowing that this person is quite special. So when it comes to this first encounter, when it comes to this first meeting, there's going to be something that will show you that this person is very, very special and very unique, and somebody that you shouldn't let go or ignore, walk away from. When it all comes down to this entire first meeting, I would say that this flexible card really defines this encounter. It's really showing a lot of growth between you and them, and allowing you to build more of a emotional relationship rather than anything else. This is not going to be that instant physical attraction. There won't be lust, and because of that, there won't be that questioning of whether or not this relationship is serious, or whether or not you really like them, because you like their personality so much, because their personality is so genuine and welcoming. I see this helping you to know that this relationship is serious and never questioning it. So as you progress into marriage, as this relationship gets more serious, there won't be any questioning, there won't be any looking away, there won't be any hesitation, because you will know that this person is somebody quite genuine, quite good. This is a good person. So with the stack, what I would say is, although I'm not going to say that they're unattractive, I'm definitely not going to say that. They look the way, in most ways, what you thought they'd be, but there's going to be a few things. And it could just be maybe something like you thought they'd have better hair. It could be something just absolutely non-existent, like something that doesn't really bother you. It could be something that's a little more noticeable. But whatever it is, it's not that you find them unattractive, it's that they don't quite match the image that you had in your head. But you're going to focus more on their personality, because you will know that they're special, and you're going to use your own strengths, your own hope for the future, to see them purely for their personality. And with that personality, you will come to find them to be the most attractive person, the most welcoming person, the most warm person, and you really want to be with them. They're really going to create quite a sincere and long lasting relationship that you will really never move away from. This seems like a really good relationship. That's what I'm seeing with this third stack and onyx. Starting with our fourth stack and lapis lazuli, we have the Seven of Wands, the Ten of Crystals, stability and attainment, Eight of Shells, quest and renewal, and lastly we have why. With this person, it seems like there is a very strong personality that you encounter almost immediately, where you seem like, it seems like to you there's a lot coming at you, where it might be that they're just asking you a lot of questions that you aren't expecting, and it's getting to a point where it's sort of almost bombardment. You feel like you might be attacked by the just all these questions. They want to know so much about you, and you feel like you're put on defense because of it. Could be in the situation that they're just really wanting to know all they can within this first encounter, because that's just their personality type. It could also be that maybe if this is like a setup, or maybe you're meeting amongst friends, that there's a lot of other people around you, and because of that there are people that are supplying them with questions or questioning you. And it seems like there's just quite a bit going on here. If it is in like a group environment where there's a lot of people, it could be that they're just not realizing that they're almost putting you out in front of everybody else, separating you from everyone, making you feel like you're almost alone, and therefore you're getting pushed away from this person. And they don't seem to be quite aware of how aggressive their personality type is, or just how they look to you. It seems like that's just who they are, and that's who they've been most of their life, so they don't know how to not be that way. So it seems that first impression not going to be quite all that great. You might not really care for them, but you don't really know how to move forward with this. And it could be that because of this there is like a hesitation, and that sort of leads to a conversation where you explain to them how they made you feel, or how you felt in that situation, and they'll realize what they did wrong, and they realize that that wasn't the best way to approach you. Maybe they should have just asked you a few questions here and there and just saved all the rest of the questions for a later date. But it seems like to them, asking these questions is to sort of get things out of the way. And it may seem like it's sort of cold, but what I'm seeing with this second card here, this alligator, crocodile, whatever it is, seems like they're just sort of that cold almost to begin with, that the way that they are when it comes to people and their first meetings with them, they seem a little blunt, a little standoffish, and almost where you feel like you can't really reach them. They're so blocked off, and in a way, with their mind being that they need to get all these questions answered so that they're not wasting time. It really seems like something that's just not a great personality trait. But it seems whatever this is, it's going to be solved either after that first encounter, that first real meet, or during that meet. I would lean more toward after, because it's going to be that first impression and that first reaction to their personality that's really going to make you step away from them. And because of that, they're going to pursue you, because it does seem like you answer the questions in their mind the way that they want somebody to answer them. You seem like their type, physically, personality wise, in general, you seem like their type. And I would say that they actually seem like they're your type. You do find them attractive. There's something very attractive about them physically. It's just that their personality is so blunt and cold. But I see after that, when you explain to them the way that you felt, or if they try to ask you out and you decline, or you sort of ignore them and they question what went wrong during that first encounter, I see that being a really big change in them. We see renewal come along with this Eight of Shells, that change coming in, that realization that that wasn't the way that they should have went about that, and that they should have been kinder toward you or more open. They should have allowed you or given you the opportunity to ask them questions rather than just bombarding you with their own. Rather than focusing so much on themselves, they should have learned more about you. And that why comes into play with that realization that they might have screwed up. They might have messed up their chances with you, and they're having to figure out why. So during that time where either you decline another date or another meetup, or if you ignore them for a little while, they're going to question it. They're going to think, why? Why did this not turn out the way I thought? And they're going to have to replay that initial meet in their head to try and figure out what went wrong and where it went wrong. And I see that being really, really important when it comes to the progression of this relationship. When it comes down to it and they either call you up or contact you and apologize for what they've done, that will be the signifier that they realize they were wrong, or that they are now trying to approach this relationship in a different way that's less aggressive and less stressful on your side. They realize that it was their issue and that they caused this immediate distancing, and they'd like that to change because they really do seem quite interested in you. They want this relationship to progress. They want to know if there's more to it. But since this is your future spouse, I would say that obviously it does. Obviously you do eventually get that call or that communication from them that says that they realize their mistake, and that will allow you to continue the relationship. It may take a little while to get past that reminder of how they treated you at first, or how that went down in the first initial meeting, but I do see that changing and them being much kinder because of that. It'll really impact the way that they just greet people in general, the way that they meet people and interact with people, because of how you responded to them. So I would say with this fourth stack, it does seem like you both find each other physically attractive. They will seem to be your type. It's just that uncomfortableness from all those questions, or just being put on the spot, that will make you distance yourself from it. But I do see that journey after that first impression into a better relationship where they're much more understanding and much more concerned with others. That's what I'm seeing with this fourth stack and lapis lazuli. Starting with our last stack and hematite, we have the World, the Eight of Acorns, energy and results, the Seven of Shells, choice and ambitions, and lastly we have building blocks. really interesting set of cards here, because we see a lot that's relying on you and the way that you're going to approach this relationship. It seems like you're open for anything. You don't seem to have anything that's set in your mind. You're not looking for a certain type. You're not looking for like a height or a build or like a certain job, education background. There's nothing. You just really seem to just want to go into a relationship that makes you happy. You want a long-term relationship that's built on bonding, a personality that gets along well with yours, everything that really matches you and either complements you or builds you up where you fall short, or you build them up where they fall short. Whatever it is, you seem like you're ready for a true love. You want a good, solid relationship, not anything that's just fickle or something that can easily fall apart. And I see you putting all of your energy into this, and you really wanting this. You really like trying to manifest this great person into life. You really want this person to come along, and that's what you're hoping for. And you're being able to really methodically rule out the ones that might not provide that to you in a good way. You're getting rid of the ones that like are just instant attraction, physical attraction. You don't want those. You're getting rid of the ones that seem more self-absorbed. You're really focusing more on the people that you will have a good opportunity with. And I see that really being successful with this relationship, because we see energy and we see results here. So all that energy you're putting into this, all that manifesting you're putting into this, the dreaming you're putting into this will result in this future spouse coming to you and being very clearly that person. And when it comes to this Seven of Shells, this choice and ambitions, you will see this person and know it immediately when you see this person. The way that they respond to you, the way that they answer any questions you have, or the way that they interact with you, the way that they have conversations with you, everything about that relationship will show you that this is the person that you want to be with, and this is the person that you've been waiting for. So there's a lot about them going on immediately that you're seeing here. There's so much that is adding up quite fast. And we see building blocks here. We see that foundation being put together. This good relationship that's being built on personality, on commonalities, on morals, on all the most important things being brought together. And when you meet them, it seems like both of you have this mindset. It seems like both of you have gone through, it could have been maybe past relationships that didn't quite work out well that led you to this mindset. And it could have been just you wanting something more than just a physical attraction. Whatever it is, it seems like you both have that mindset where you're both desiring this deeper connection, this real like true soulmate in your life. You will both want that. And I see that being really impactful on this relationship and on this first meeting, because you're both sort of going into it thinking the same way. So the way that you're able to approach each other is really interesting, because you sort of understand where the other person is coming from. You understand the questions, you understand the way that they think, the way that they speak. You really get along well. It seems like to maybe an outsider, it might be an odd way of approaching somebody. It may seem like something's little strange, or it could be like too calculating, too distant. Like it could be where the questions are just so sort of separating that to another person it may seem odd, but to you two, you know what you're talking about. You know how you feel. You know how the other one is feeling, and it's that common mindset that's really going to help you two when it comes to this first meeting. So what I would say most importantly with this is, because you're not going in there hoping that they look one way or another, when it comes to their physical type, when it comes to their appearance, I would say that it doesn't matter to you what they look like. And I will say though, it does seem like as this relationship progresses, you will find them more and more physically attractive. But it's not that you won't find them attractive or that they will be unattractive. It's just that you really don't care whenever this relationship comes along. You have put that so far to the back of your head that it really doesn't matter what they look like. So you're not going in there thinking, I hope they're really attractive. You're going in there thinking, I hope they're kind. I hope they're open. I hope that they're a good person. So that's the last thing on your mind. And it could be where maybe you meet up with friends afterwards, and your friends will say, did you find them attractive, or were they this, were they that? And you'll say something along the lines of, I didn't even pay attention to that. That wasn't something I was concerned with. And it seems like a very important point in both of the lives of you and that person, because you're both going in with that same mentality where it's not about physical. You really just want that true connection, that true love. As it progresses, I do see that this being the real key to the length of this relationship, and that leading to marriage. You both are building something so strong, so bonding, that it's almost cemented from the start. And people might, as I said, people might look at you like you're odd, like how can you guys get along so well when it's almost more scientific than loving. But it is loving to both of you. You both are approaching and embracing each other in the way that you both desire to be approached and embraced. It really does seem like a good relationship for both of you at whatever stage this is when it comes along. Whenever this person comes into your life, whenever you find this person, the mindset you'll both be in will be really great for this really good, solidified marriage, future spouse relationship. This is a really positive stack that I'm seeing here, because you'll both know that there are many opportunities out there, but you don't care about any of those. You just want somebody that will sincerely love you and sincerely care about you, and not something that's just a moment in time. So that's what I'm seeing with this last stack and hematite. And those are all the stacks that I have for you all today. I hope that one of these stacks was able to resonate with you or provide you with some answers to any questions you have. I hope you all are staying safe and healthy. I really want to thank you all so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. If you'd like to request a future pick a card question, or if you have any questions that you like asked in a future pick a card, feel free to leave them in the comment section. Please have a wonderful day, week, and year. Bye-bye.